Good evening and welcome to the Not Relevant podcast. There we go. Title's up. Now it's official. We start now. Thomas, how are you doing tonight?
I'm fantastic. It's funny how a 5-day work week somehow goes faster than a 4-day. I don't know how it happened, but it did. This week flew by for me, at least.
Did all the work go by fast, or just the work days? So you're working next week than you normally have.
Yeah, a couple portions of my days were longer than others for sure, but the week in general, it just skipped right on by, which I'm ecstatic for. So
that's awesome. That's really cool. The weekend is here, so we have to celebrate appropriately. And for some people, it's been a rough week. There's a couple we want to get into. Before we do that, as is tradition, every time we have a podcast on a Verdict Watch night, the verdict comes in as soon as it's time for the podcast. So we do have a video here to play really quickly. The verdict came in. Let's switch to this. So that's going to be me right here, and we're going to play this. I'll kill the music here. Thomas, I'm going to set you on the side just for a minute. Is that all right?
Yeah, I'm good with timeouts.
How do I do this? Yes. We've taught you well. Let's see. How do I follow? I think it's this one.
It's like our 5th Friday of the week with the verdict.
Oh my goodness, it's been crazy. This was a fun one. All in one day, all in one afternoon. This case, and so yes. we'll bring this one on. I think so. I put the timer up there. It looks like just a hair over 2 hours on the Verdict Watch. Okay, to get the results in.
I'm going to kill our brand logo for you already did. Okay.
Maybe seated.
It's going to happen fast and we'll be done. So
I've been advised that the jury has reached a verdict, so we'll bring the jury out.
I love the hot mics in this court. They're just hilarious.
Mm-hmm. I love the judge doing paperwork while the trial's happening.
I'm going to be down here in the corner. Is that all right?
Like we do that on Friday afternoon. Pretty weather.
Pretty weather.
And you guys Monday.
Lots of hustle and bustle in the courtroom here. Probably could have cut this part out, but the suspense is just awesome.
They had that today with the juror.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've been told that you have been able to reach a verdict. Is your foreman or forelady able to stand and deliver the verdict? All right, as to count 1 of the indictment, on the charge of theft of property, how do you find the defendant, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
And as to the charge of forgery in the second count of the indictment, as to that charge, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
So as to all charges in this case, you find the defendant not guilty. All right, is that the unanimous verdict of all 12 of you? You would signify by raising your hand. All right, let the record reflect that all 12 have unanimously found the defendant not guilty. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your service. I know you've given it a long, hard day today, and I appreciate your patience and your willingness to do this. I wish I could say that we won't need you next week, but we don't necessarily know that we will or won't at this point. So if you'll call that number that you've been given after 6 p.m. on Wednesday night, we'll let you know. If something comes up, you can't be here, I understand. But if I knew we'd have enough without letting you have to serve again, then I would certainly do that. The case coming up is going to be a very significant case. So, and there's always things that happen. So if you'll check that number after 6 p.m. Wednesday night, we'll let you know whether or not we need you back. Okay. You are free to go. If you need to go over here and collect any of your things, turn your badge in, then that'd be to do that. Ms. Corley, Ms. Dawson, other the jury of your peers having found you not guilty, you are discharged from this court.
There you go. And that's how they end it right there. So I'm not sure. Let me bring you back in here. I'm not sure. Why side by side? Is that better? Add to stage.
Oh,
This is different.
this is there.
There we go. All these buttons, so many buttons. So yeah, so not guilty on both counts, okay, which was a surprise because basically she stole the money. It's not her money; she had it. Not guilty on both counts. But then the funniest part was at the end with the judge. By the way, your jury service, your term of service is like for a full week, and we're going to need you for the murder trial later in the week.
No.
What? I did my time. Oh man. So man, Tennessee, they're hard on the jurors. I've never seen a judge require a juror to do back-to-back courts like that.
That's brutal. So basically, everyone gets $5K and insurance is out $10K. So it's kind of a win for the people because everyone kind of wants to stick to insurance.
So I'm hopeful that the two Kimberlys and whoever Stephanie is can all work out the differences moving forward. But
yeah, third party random Stephanie. That was what's that? Was it the defense in closing that put that in there?
Prosecution didn't know who the victim was. They said the victim's name was Stephanie. I'm like, we haven't heard any testimony about a Stephanie. But man, that was a rough week. Obviously, it's a rough week anytime you have to go to court. But it ended well for the defendant in this case, even though I didn't think it would have. But at the same time, had she been found guilty, man, I don't know. I don't condone theft at all. I don't.
Right.
But it seems to say 2 to 12 years for writing your name on a check that comes to you in the mail that's addressed to you when you're expecting a check from, even if it's wrongfully expecting a check. I just think that just seems extreme. So
I think it's extreme as well. The hard part I had with it was her openly in the interrogation being, she kind of gave motive, if you will. Motive's not needed, but saying she's always had it out for me. She hates me. I don't like her.
It was my house.
Yeah, that didn't play well. It seemed like, okay, instead of it was my check. It's given to me. I thought it was mine. Paris, what are you guys talking about? If she would have left all that out, I would have taken it more real. But based off the evidence, what they got, jury went with honest mistake. So
it was interesting. Anyway, we got a verdict. So we're good there. Other people who had a rough week this week. Just looking back, the Marine Corps in South Carolina. Rough. How do you lose an $80 million jet? Okay. You think that somewhere on that machine, it has a little ping, here I am thing. But no, apparently when the pilot gets out mid-flight, there is no way for them to track it. And reading the reports, initially the way they were asked a bunch of questions about how this went down, and sort of the answers sort of came back jumbled together. And so the answer the social media took was the pilot bailed out because there was bad weather. Okay, and these jets can fly through just about anything. Okay, these are high performance jets.
Not my fault.
Yeah, that wasn't. He didn't just bail because there was a cloud up ahead. That's not what happened. I don't know why he did bail. He might have been like adjusting his seat, and he's like at home. That right down here is the lever to adjust the seat back, and that's the eject lever. In his jet. I don't know what happened there, but anyway, he got out, and the plane. He had another guy flying next to him, and that guy lost the plane in the bad weather. So they flew into clouds and like, I can't see the plane. There's no pilot in there. For his own safety, he's going to like peel off. But shouldn't it have like some sort of radar or something? It's like, oh, there's
100%
nearby, even if it's a stealth jet.
The fact that it's not in a general area where no one's reported it or called it in, I can't fathom that. And because of that, Nurse Forgot has gifted 5 more memberships. So,
in honor of the missing jet. $8 million down in a field, also in South Carolina. The guy that there's a dude on the ground that's got he does the sound of the jet flying over as it's crashing. He's like, he comes in and goes on, and he's on the news doing the noise. It's so good. He's like, He's the next Anton Jones or Anton. What's the guy's name? Hide your kids, hide your wife, because they snatch it up everybody up over here.
Yeah.
Seen that
And
one?
the lady with the ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
Those interviews, they're the best.
You'll see memes with him on all over the place. The military declared the area like a national security zone, which means property rights be danged. They're taking over the area. You don't not finders keepers. They will get every scrap and piece of that plane, and they don't even allow you to fly over and take pictures.
Oh wow!
Photographs aren't allowed. They're pretty strict about that. So.
Yeah, I mean they've got technology in these planes they want to protect and keep, and intellectual property. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's lost. I wonder who and how many are losing their job over this one.
Or maybe just rethink the design. You know, it's like, well, we didn't envision this would happen, but in case it does again, a little Apple AirTag, you know, stuck under the pilot, this could all be resolved. $25 of technology. Oh man.
Oh, that's so true. That is wild. That's mind blowing. I can't wait to hear. And if we hear how it's recovered, where it's recovered, because they're going to be embarrassed if it's, you know, it's been in the back.
They found it. It's in a guy's field.
They did.
And that's the guy that made the sound.
Oh, so the guy that interviewed. Okay.
Yeah. But so I think they're like evacuating people out of the area and making sure nobody like takes pictures, and planes aren't allowed to fly over it. And lots of tarps involved. Okay. So nobody's going to see the wreckage. But, there's going to be some conspiracy theories with aliens and everything else going on. But
100%.
Anyway,
so if you're that guy, do you cover up that thing and check it out for a while before you call in? Depending how far away from your home it is, or do you just call right away so you don't get involved at all? I personally would be curious. If it's far from my home and I'll be honest, if I can lie and say, I didn't hear anything, and I never checked that part of my land until today, it's been 5 days.
I would tell you,
day one, I'd go start scoping that sucker out.
Quick little live stream or a TikTok on that would go viral beyond your belief. 100%. And there's no way they can put that back in the can once it gets out.
100%.
They didn't tell me I couldn't film it yet, so I don't know. That would be fun. If it lands in my garden, I'm keeping it, says Julie.
That's right.
Gonna plant flowers in the engine. Yeah, it's gonna be. It was in a field, I think. So
I just take the burner and get a quick few pictures and then stuff the burner away for a bit.
They'll find it. I would. You have to go public as soon as possible, or else you'll disappear. Everything else. In other news, not everyone had a bad week. Thomas, big week for you as well. I owe
it to you.
No, I didn't. I was one of them. That's all. So I can only claim 1/1000th of your success.
and you didn't have the bell click for notifications. I noticed when you were streaming, but no, I can't believe I'm at 1,000K subscribers. It's crazy because honestly, my my efforts have been somewhat lackluster since I started it, and I've wanted to do more than I really have. But you've promoted it. Some of the other mods and friends have promoted it, and then I know just about everyone here watching us tonight has been subscribed and has watched and has commented and liked. So thanks to all of you that have done that and kicked it off. So because of 1K, my vow is to be more active and get more videos out there.
Great, guys. Made his life more miserable. He's got more work and less time. So congratulations.
I do need to find someone that has some sense of audio quality, because a few times I've made some videos, that's where I've had my issues. So I've gone live and I get some massive echoes. So I kill it and I just let, my graphics play on screen. So when I try to record or make certain videos, it's just terrible. So if I can find someone that knows audio,
I might know a guy.
Shoot me his number if you've got it. And then
number, that helps. Sounds good. Well, congratulations. That is super, super awesome. What's going on in chat? There's lots of RA, you can't ignore us.
Oh yeah, because I highlighted a comment that I can go back and find it real fast.
Let's are you guys sure? I mean, we had the verdict already. We had the verdict. Don't you guys want to wait till it's closer to Halloween to hear the story?
Yeah, I think they all have patience. They don't need to hear it tonight.
They're going to rip us apart. Halloween story much, says Red Pen. This is good. Yeah. Okay. Here's the deal. I did promise. I did promise, and I do intend to keep my promise. But we have to transition to it smoothly, right? So we have to pick up the schedule with the stories we have, and if we find a point where we can smoothly transition to it, we'll just go ahead and do that. Otherwise, we'll dump it in at the very end. Is that fair?
I was going to set you up real bad right now, but I'm going to keep it rolling.
A spooky segue. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go through the regular rundown, and if there's a great segue that appears in chat that we think is perfect, then I'll lead right into it. Is that fair?
Chat, believe in me, I will make this segue happen, since I know I have a little background on this story, I think, so I will make sure this segue takes place tonight.
Thomas may be the only other adult in the world that knows this story.
And I didn't even know when you alluded to it in chat earlier today, I was away from my desk and I came back to just a plethora of comments about egging you on to share the story. So I had no idea what the real reference was. And then when we did our pre-show, you said, "Hey, remember that story?" And I went, "Oh, yeah, that's what the people are wanting to hear." And I went, "Good luck." Yeah. Good luck.
He's like, "Have you consulted a lawyer?"
This is
one of those. Have you talked to your immigration attorney? Sort of things. It's one of those questions you just want to get out of the way. But
yes, it's all things legal. So
it's a good story. I'll share it. Mrs. RA says no. The way she said. Even worse.
But speaking of all things legal and law, we're going to jump across to England.
Yes.
Where we have a burglar suspect on the run. It doesn't say via car. I believe it's via foot, based off what this officer did. We've got a few officers running through Gosport, England, I believe, and they're not catching up. They're not gaining ground on the suspect, and they're getting frustrated.
I can envision this. We've seen pursuits where the suspect has the advantage.
Yes, many times. So an officer looks over, and here's little Taylor on a little kid's bicycle, not just a kid's bike or a mountain bike or normal, a little kid's blue and white bicycle.
I'm talking like a 16-inch tire.
Yes.
Small. Yeah. Smaller than BMX.
Yep. So the officer stops and says, "Hey, Junior, can I borrow your bicycle? I promise I'll give it back." And little Taylor says, "Of course." So the officer hops on said clown bicycle and speeds down the road, and they apprehend the suspect.
Chasing them on a kid's bike. How embarrassing for the suspect in the background of his nick pick, where they've nicked him, they've got him, and there's the bike that they got him on in the background.
100%.
Oh,
so
man.
Awesome story. The officer, she promised Taylor, "I promised to bring it back." So she did. The police department released a few statements of, if you saw officer, I forget her name, rolling through the village yesterday evening on a little kid's bicycle. It is true. For her, she didn't steal it. It was to apprehend a suspect.
London Metropolitan. I need that bike.
Yeah.
Get off, kid.
Yeah. And then the police department gave out a statement to young Taylor and told him that anytime he needs to borrow a police car, he's more than welcome for his generous offering for them.
Can I cash in that card until I'm old enough to really make use of that?
Yeah.
So what a great way to pick up a date. It's like, hey, hop in the squad. Hop in the squad. We're gonna ride in style. We're gonna beat all the traffic to the dance.
Where'd you get this? Borrowed it.
Yep.
They let me.
Friend, I've got this arrangement. That is really cool. That's really funny. I imagine if he does need to use the squad car, he'll have a chauffeur. I don't think he'll get to just drive it.
Oh, but that means he has to sit in the back.
That's not as cool anymore.
Plastic seats.
The date goes in the back as well. I mean, if he waits till he's dating or something.
And it stinks. And they don't clean and sanitize those as much as they should. After they get in scuffles and their stuff and they throw them back in there. I'm sure they do if there's some blood or something, but it's they're nasty. I've been in them from my dad's take-home car for years. They're so gross back there.
They're not comfy either. I mean, this is not first-class legroom. I don't know what they do, but the officer has all the room in the world up front and in back. You're lucky if you can get your your feet up underneath you a little bit.
Well, yeah, because they put in the cages plus the spit guard plexiglass on one side, so that gets backed up. And then the seats they have are actually a little bit bigger because they're just all plastic. You don't have cushioned seats in the back. They're these plastic kind of bench seats that they put in there to strap you into. So it's terrible. If you're like over 5'9", it's absolutely miserable. Katie's right. They're not meant to be comfy. They're just meant to transport. And that's why they call it a transport.
Yeah. If you pretend really hard, it feels like you're being chauffeured. This reminds me of no. There was no police involved yet. I'll say yet. No police involved on this one.
And technically not. So, okay. Let's see. No, we'll just keep going. I saw, is Mrs. RA in chat? Is she still here?
She is. She's baiting them on.
That's just endless pumpkins. I don't know if we continue, if anyone's even hearing the stories.
It's just, we might have to. Okay, let's.
Okay, chat. What is the tradition as a young kid to go to the door?
If we can have as many likes on the channel as we have people in chat.
Okay, I like that.
I'll do it right now.
That's a good one.
Is that fair? How many do we have? We might already be there. So that
No.
might not be a good one.
265 watching, 119 likes. I'm going to refresh my oh, it just jumped to 140 real fast. It's gonna happen.
It was like, do it.
There's going to be a holdout.
I will tell you that is a cheat. It's a cheat to get me out of telling the story, because there are people who watch on devices that are not able to like using. So some televisions don't allow you to like the channel. So people that are watching that are here would not be able to do it. So I won't hold you to that. That was just mean. It was mean.
So since you cheated, I got this covered. Chat, what is the traditional saying that children say when they approach the door during Halloween asking for candy? If one person in chat gets it correct, he will tell the story.
One.
Just one.
Can we at least do a poll and require a simple majority?
No, because you cheated. You cheated. Oh, we've got a couple. We've got a couple.
Everybody's getting it correct. Okay, so I will tell you my story. And this is just between friends. Don't share this beyond just us. So no clipping this. Cachette, I don't want to see this in the shorts.
No clipping.
Tayo Toys also no clipping. So here's the deal. I like Halloween, but my tradition is not to decorate very much, and I'm more about doing like audio and special effects at the door. I'm all for giving away candy. I mean, I'm like the dentist's best friend when it comes to that. So loads of candy. We'll buy a ton of candy. I mean, on our street gets busy. It's not uncommon to have several hundred people come by on Halloween Eve or on Halloween to get candy, and we give just about everything away. So the one thing that's different about here than other places is that in other places I've lived, that people would come to your door and knock on the door, and you go and answer the door, and then you give them candy. Here in North Carolina, at least in my area that we're in, neighbors all come out and they sit on their porch or on their sidewalk. They'll set up a table, and people just come up to the table. You don't knock on the door, so you don't actually go up to the door and back down. And that's probably good, because most of our houses are really old, and it's probably not safe to walk up the uneven steps and across the wooden porch and everything else. You'll fall through. It's dangerous. So trick-or-treaters are just like a steady stream of people coming up to the house. Well, I set up my speakers. I've got some little Bose powered speakers and a sound system that has a little echo thing on there. And I've got my little microphone, my wireless microphone, and I'm talking into it. And I'm doing my little spooky voices. I'm like, watch your step. It may be your last, things like that. And just doing my little haunted sounds. And I'm trying to be funny, right? And I'm trying to, and so, kids come up and they're like, trick or treat. And what do you do? Well, you say, well, I'm tired of giving away treats. I'd like a trick. See, this is pretty much all there is to the story, other than the fact that I'm doing the same line. It's like, well, I'd like a trick. Instead of me giving you a treat, instead of me giving you a treat, you give me a trick. 3 girls come up trick-or-treating. younger, very, very young, teen, maybe, dressed like hookers. Okay, I don't know what's a nice way to put this. Dressed extremely inappropriately for any age, with like fake dollar bills coming out of their clothes. They were dancers, and making, and it does not click in my head. Okay, I'm looking at the candy bowl. I'm making sure we have enough Snickers. I'm making sure we have the microphone's working, the volume's loud enough. And I hear the trick or treat, and I say, how about you give me a trick instead? And then it registered. And I'm using a microphone. I've got my speakers going to the whole neighborhood so everyone can hear, everyone can see. And the worst part is that they knew what I did not mean to say and had said. That their eyes, and my wife was right next to me. And she realized what it was like a second before I realized what had just happened. There is no way to gracefully get out of that situation other than just dump candy in their bags and say, go, get off my property, leave.
Go away now. Shoot.
Oh, yes. And that, my friends, so, that was last Halloween.
I don't know.
Halloween is coming up again, and I'm not sure if I should even be out there. I think we should pass this off to a different generation. My kids can be out there. Sorry, it's on damage control. It was so bad, you guys. I cannot believe it's a good thing it was dark because my embarrassment was through the roof. And it was just, oh my goodness.
I think you should just put a big sign out this year. It says closed for Halloween.
Yes. Due to previous incidents, we will not be handing out candy anymore.
Adam Nusky comes with the and clipped.
Mama says, but why were the young girls dressed as exotic dancers? Really, I'd like to push the blame on them. I was the only adult there. I mean, so I can't just say it's their fault. Their parents let them leave the house like this. But it just didn't click until, and I had said it to so many kids before, cute little Pooh Bears with little pandas and things, and half of them started crying, because they're like, I wanted the candy, But yeah, it was so bad. It was so bad. You guys. I need new one-liners to say to trick or treaters. New sign treats only. Where's that? Oh man. Put up a sign as a thing there. There it is. New sign treats only.
With a disclaimer. Unless you're dressed such as.
I'll be wearing my orange jumpsuit hoodie for sure. But hopefully it won't be for a related reason.
Oh, it's perfect. This is my escape from prison hoodie. So the parents of those kids are going to come back and be like, oh, so you ended up serving time for your little stunt last year?
Yeah.
That's what they're going to say. Well,
good on you. You deserved it. Anyway, there you go. You made me tell my most embarrassing story ever. This one even tops the time that I pulled out of the gas station with the nozzle still in the tank.
No, you've done that?
Oh yeah, I did. Ripped the hose right off the Maverick gas pump and had to walk back into the store carrying the handle saying, I think this is yours. I'm sorry. That was bad. But this was worse by far.
I will admit, I'm close to you there. I came very close to that same thing happening. I put the pump in, started gas, went into the store with a friend of mine. And this was in my younger years after kind of a later night. And we walk back out and we get in the car. I start the car and my friend goes, hey, the gas pump, it's still in your car. So he saved me because I was about to put it in drive and go.
I can tell you that all you feel is a little tug, just like you hit a bump.
It's got an easy brake release, right? To
quick release, it pops out. No gas sprays around all over the place like you see in the movies. It just tug and pops off, and then it just drags nicely alongside the car. You don't run it over or anything. But I didn't. At least I didn't get out of the parking lot.
No, that's fair. Because you get out into the main road with it on there, the people are taking videos, they're posting all over social media.
I had my whole family in the car with me, so
Can you imagine? People are taking videos of you going down the road, and your unregistered license plate is also in there, going viral.
Too soon. Too soon.
Just came to mind, just thinking about it.
Oh man, good stuff.
Speaking of Mrs. RA being
Yes.
in chat and firing it up, and she's probably all read too, but I think you need to redeem yourself a little bit more with some comedy here. Homeschooling. Homeschooling is a great thing for multiple reasons. It's not for everybody, but there's a mom in this next story that I think should probably go that route and should sub to Mrs. Ra's channel.
She probably has a little bit to learn. I'm just saying, and this particular mom, child was in public school, and one of the things with public school, a lot of times you end up having to pack a lunch for your kid. You know, a field trip. It's field trip day. Bring a lunch, or something like that. So, mom had a rough week in this story. I think maybe a rough morning, a rough day. And in this story, I'm not talking about Mrs. RA. Just let me be very clear. In this story, the mom in this story had decided to take the edge off, off the day a little bit, and just had poured herself a nice glass goblet jug. I don't know how much she might have had the whole bottle, but she had a little bit of wine in the morning, just a little sip, and then oh, it's time to pack Johnny's lunch. Let's go ahead and get that done. So with the effects of the wine going on in the head, she packs the lunch bag, and it includes such delicious things as microwave popcorn, which you can't just cook in elementary school.
Can't cook that school.
What was the first item? It was
uncooked hot dogs.
Uncooked hot dogs, just straight out of the package. Little bar S. Stick in a Ziploc. They should be good. She had an egg in there, which they're not sure if it was hard boiled or not. There was an egg. Just croutons. Crouton for a quick snack. It's almost like chips.
Kayla P was the night before. She was prepping for lunch, and that's what was in the bag for the kid to go to school with.
Yeah. So this poor kid gets to school, opens up the bag. It's like, you know the commercial. I know my mommy loves me because she gives me peanut butter. Yeah, no Skippy peanut butter inside at all. Poor kid felt that there was no love there at all. So one more reason: A, to homeschool, or B, to pack lunch when you're sober.
Yeah.
Because it can be bad.
Very
Bad
true.
for the poor kid at school.
Oh
Hopefully they
yeah.
had the food for him. They didn't tell us in the story if they got something else, but
Yeah, I didn't say that. Would have been nice to know if Johnny's friend shared lunch or the school went, well, here's some real food and we're gonna call CPS, so hang tight. They didn't say what was going on. But speaking of food,
Yes.
today, towards the end of your live stream, we reached out to chat, give suggestions. There was a lot of good ones. We've actually saved a handful of them that we're going to still use. But RA and I decided tonight we want to go with top 3 foods that we didn't like as a child, but we like now.
so
And
I'm
it's
gonna
not uncooked hot dogs, croutons,
Yeah, we
or
can't
uncooked
take
eggs.
anything from the story.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask the same question I ask every time, and I forget: is 3 the worst or the best, or like which one would I be more likely to, or less like?
So number 1 is your favorite.
My favorite thing that I like now that I didn't before. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to lead out, or should I?
I'll fire off. My number 3 is going to be onions.
Cooked or
well,
just in anything?
Both. So as a kid, no raw onions on a cheeseburger and no cooked onions in tomato sauce with spaghetti or anything like that. Couldn't do it. Now, and the reason it's my number 3, I can eat certain dishes with cooked onions, but I absolutely love a crunch of a good raw onion on a burger now.
It's tasty. I love it. I don't know when I started liking onions, but I remember not liking onions because they made me cry. Like when mom would be cutting onions.
Yeah.
I remember not liking that part, but I don't remember ever transitioning to, and now I like to eat them. So that's going to be on the list, but it's probably lower than the top 3. With my number 3, I'm going to go with actually it's a combo. It's going to be crookneck and zucchini, steamed crookneck and zucchini. So it's a yellow and green squash that are steamed, and usually I put a little butter, salt, and pepper on them. As a kid, the thought was disgusting. I mean, I'd have to go out and I'd pick these out of the garden. And zucchini, if you've ever grown zucchini, it's one of those plants that you grow and like for a month, it just grows and grows and grows. And then suddenly it just prolifically just starts sprouting zucchinis faster than you can pick them. and you end up having to like chuck them over the fence, and you're feeding them to the deer, and you're hoping raccoons come and steal some. There's just tons. But so I'd go with that one. Now I would, oh my goodness, I love the crookneck. You get the little, if it's cooked just right, it sort of squeaks in your teeth when you bite it. I'm not sure if that's just me, but
That's appealing.
Oh, it's so good. Don't peel it. It's not like a mango. You eat
No.
the side.
I mean, the squeaking in the teeth is appealing to you.
Yes. It's like you get the beautiful taste. You get the salt, the pepper, the butter. You get I'm sure it's healthy, except for how much salt and butter I put on it. But other than that, it's really good. I love
So that's why you like it, because you didn't get all the salt and butter as a kid, but now you get it. So you get it.
Yep.
So my number 2, I hate to do this because she's not even here, but it's going to be steak.
Seriously.
Here's the reason why. And God bless her. My mom cooked steaks. What do you have? You have medium well.
Mm-hmm.
So she had like well cubed, like well steak.
Jerky.
Steak as a kid was jerky. I just smother it. And they say like ketchup with steak, it's a sin. And it's the only way. Steak sauce and ketchup, like ratio was 1 to 2 as far as a slice of steak to sauce to get it in, to get it down. So it was not good. But as I got older and started learning how to cook myself and what other ways and different temperatures of it, steak is amazing. And it's one of my absolute favorite things to eat.
So now what would you, as far as cooked level, are you like a medium rare, a rare guy?
So I'm medium to medium rare. That's where I like my steak.
And that's going to be warm pink center.
If you go to medium rare, then it's a little bit lighter pink center.
Okay.
Versus the warm. Medium's more the warm pink.
I never know which one it is. I always say medium because I'm not sure where on the scale it falls. But I'd rather not have my steak so that a good veterinarian could revive it. Love that. But at the same time, I don't want to be chewing on it for all night, trying to break it down to pieces small enough I can swallow. So I'm not picky, but somewhere in the middle is good for me.
Have you ever had absolutely 100% uncooked raw beef?
No. Is that like the Wagyu?
No, that's just the cut. Well, that's just a different type of beef, Wagyu, not the cut.
It's just like raw cow.
So I don't know the exact terminology for it. I've only had it twice. Both times were on a cruise. We opted to upgrade the dinner, and that was an appetizer. I forget the actual name. Someone in chat might know it.
Steak tartare.
Yeah, that's it. It is. I was extremely freaked out, even though I wanted to try it. My God, this has got to be against FDA rules. How is this even here? But I'm going to try it. It was incredible. It was so good.
It's not even like warmed up. It's just like we brought this out of the fridge and cut you a piece and enjoy.
Uh-huh. But it's seasoned. It's a different cut of beef. It's extremely. The one I had was really thin. It's incredible.
Land sushi. Land sushi.
It's worth a shot, I promise you. But I wouldn't go to a hole-in-the-wall restaurant to give that one a run. I would go to somewhere.
This sounds like
you trust.
It sounds like one of those places that serve poisonous puffer fish, and like if you cook it wrong, there's like 100% chance you're going to die. It sounds like it's like one step down from that.
So Dean nailed it here. It was served at room temp. But it's not, you can't picture a steak that you get that was delivered like way too raw and rare that you're cutting into thinking you're getting it. It's not that way. It's extremely thin. It's like, it almost looks like prosciutto or something like that on your plate.
Judy. I would the chef be insulted if I were to say like bring my own little lighter and warm it up a little bit before I ate it? I just at least a little heat in there. I'm not sure if it does any good, but
See, AJ, it's common in France, y'all. And I think she means the beef tartare, not the phrase y'all.
you know.
But
Rarely heard y'all word in France.
what's your number 2?
Okay, my number 2. I've got a couple. Oh man. Pink grapefruit.
Interesting.
Initially as a kid, the bitterness, the sourness of a grapefruit was just too much for me.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get over that. But I learned to cover them in about a cup of sugar, and all my fruit have an unhealthy addition to them. But just I would take the grapefruit and you cut it in half, right? Along so you've got like the navel on the ends. You cut it in half, so you've got 2 hemispheres, and then you take a knife and you cut along the little, I don't know what they call them, the little pieces between the fruit. So you have to free the fruit, and then you use a spoon to scoop it out, and you just sprinkle sugar across the top of that, and it's delicious. But now that I'm older, I don't use nearly as much sugar, and I really like the actual, just the pure taste of the pink grapefruit.
Oh, here you go. Dean says try powdered sugar on grapefruit. I've never tried that before.
What I would do is, my mom didn't like this, but I'd cut my grapefruit in half, and I'd just take it and I'd like face plant it in the sugar bowl to get a nice good coating across the top, because all the moisture would adhere to the sugar, and that was like almost the perfect amount. I mean, it's enough that it doesn't like fall off when you're scooping it up. But sometimes you would get little clumps of grapefruit juice and sugar in the sugar bowl, which she was not a fan of.
Good combo. I've never liked rhubarb. I still don't. And my parents would make rhubarb pies, and I would not eat them. But I would take the raw rhubarb and I would bite it and slobber all over it, and then get it I'd take a mug full of sugar, like a fun dip, and I would just eat chunks of rhubarb with it, just doused in sugar. I haven't touched it since I was like 10, but that's what I used to do.
I had rhubarb crumble in England when I was over there. Okay. And I will tell you that it was made incredibly well, but it was rhubarb. And there was no amount of sugar then that could make me so I could choke this thing down. I mean, it was the pastry was light and flaky, and it was beautiful, but it had rhubarb in the middle, and I'm gagging thinking about it. It's not good. It's really not good.
Kelly P nailed it. Ew. I went the reverse way. That's something I snacked on as a kid, and now that I'm adult, I'm like, I can't believe that's what I ate. But so my number 1. And some people in chat have already said this themselves. It's 100% mushrooms. You couldn't have paid me as a kid to eat any sort of mushroom the way it was cooked. But now, if I can saute some shiitake mushrooms with some butter and some garlic, and I'll put them with shrimp, with steak, I'll throw it on top of my baked potato. I can eat them with anything. I undercook mine a hair, almost like cooking pasta al dente. That's how I'll do my mushrooms. So there's still a little bit of texture. I can't do just a soft, soggy, gross mushroom. But I couldn't even look at mushrooms as a kid. And now I'll cook some and eat them myself.
I've also increased my tolerance to mushrooms. And now in a pinch, if I have no other options, I can eat cream of mushroom instead. That's
you really expanded.
I mean, if I'm doing like a hamburger stroganoff, and I like to make hamburger stroganoff, I can use cream of mushroom instead of cream of chicken, and that would be okay. But just straight mushrooms, I still can't. It's the sliminess a little bit. It's and this is weird because I've actually gone out like mushroom hunting and found those really nice, cool ones that look like the sponge on top. That grow after a forest fire. I found a great place and picked those and got them for my mom. I know there's some that look almost identical that are deadly.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure I got the right ones for her because they were actually
I'm pretty sure it's a good percentage. That's nice.
I never saw her eat them, so I'm not sure if she trusted me, but I assured her that they were the good ones, and they sell for like $200 a pound or something. They're ridiculous.
You know, cream of mushroom is a can of cream of chicken with minuscule diced pieces of cream of mushroom in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's
all
why
I can
he's
do.
okay.
I can't do more than that. It's I don't know. If I went to somebody's house and there was a guest and they served mushrooms, I would eat them and I would smile politely and I would swallow them and I wouldn't puke or anything. It would be okay. They're not so bad that I can't gag them down. But it would not be enjoyable at any point while they were in my mouth. Sorry. What is this?
She who controls the kitchen. Mrs. O'Reilly, what's the no? Actually, don't share the dish because all of a sudden he'll say he doesn't like it.
No,
No, because
I'm going to Burger King that night.
You see, no. Mrs. O'Reilly, don't tell.
Maybe it's one of those things. As long as I don't know I'm eating it, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, but if she tells, then you're gonna know, and all of a sudden, nope, Mrs. O'Reilly, don't tell.
Hey, I had to tell my Halloween story. I think the least she can do is tell me what she's feeding me hidden mushrooms in.
Well, to a degree, she's a part of the household, so she's involved in the Halloween story.
She was there. She was right.
So it's not like she got to point
man.
and laugh at you. She's stuck guilty by association. So,
Yeah. Okay. Let's go on. We'll ignore the mushroom thing, and we'll fight this out later in front of our therapist, I think, or attorneys, whichever it has to be. No, that was a joke. Number one. Oh man, there are lots of foods I wouldn't eat as a kid, but now I eat. I've got a lot of foods that I ate as a kid that now I won't. Would that be fair on this list, or does it have to be the other way around?
It's written the other way around, but I think that's fair. I have cheated several times in our little challenges, so you definitely get a pass on this one.
Okay,
and that's actually interesting.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with banana sandwiches. Yes, sorry, banana sandwich. And here's how you make a banana sandwich. You take a piece of butter, white bread. You take white bread. You take a healthy slab of butter, and you just coat the bread with butter, and then you peel a banana and you slice it into slices about a quarter to a half inch thick, and then you take another piece of bread and you butter it heavily and you stick that over the top, and then you eat it. Now I did not know that banana sandwiches were a thing.
They're
so
not.
Adam knows where I'm going with this. I didn't know banana sandwiches were a thing until I got to Norway as a kid, and we were over visiting my mom's family over there. And the big story was, local girl comes home with like half a dozen kids or something like that. I think it was 8 kids that were in the family. We get over to Norway, and of course we're jet lagged. The newspaper comes to take our picture first thing in the morning. They're asking us questions in Norwegian, and we're trying to get translation. And one of the questions they ask us is, "What's your favorite food?" And somehow in our answers, they got somebody saying banana sandwiches. And everywhere we went to Norway, because we were like an oddity, people would like come to see this huge family that was coming to visit Norway, a small town in Norway. Everywhere we would go, people would serve us, and they'd make trays, like a big tray, like a big, huge silver platter full, just piled high, nothing but banana sandwiches. And we just ate banana sandwiches for the 10 weeks we were there. It was just one after another. It was the only thing we got. It was, and I cannot do this again. I don't know who the sibling was. That sibling was in trouble for the rest of the trip. And to make matters worse, I got chicken pox over there. So the rest of my family didn't. But here I am in Norway with chicken pox, while everyone else is going to the beach and checking out the amazing sights and history in Larvik and around Oslo and things like that. And I'm in bed scratching.
It's terrible. I've never liked bananas.
Worst trip ever.
Between bananas and chicken pox, yeah, that sounds like a living eatable hockey sticks. I've never liked bananas as a kid or as an adult. The only thing I do like about bananas is when you go to the store, there's a little bucket next to the bananas, that says like "Save me, I'm single," and it's where a banana has fallen off the little bushel or whatever it's called, and you can just put it in that bucket, and you can purchase now an individual banana. I think that's genius, and I think it's funny. But you've never seen it?
Single bananas.
Yeah. So if it falls off of what's the terminology for a 6-pack of bananas or whatever? They go?
I thought it was a bunch.
A bunch or a bushel is where I thought. So if one falls off of that in the store, or if you even pick it up and break it, there's a little bucket next to it that you set it in. And they've got, it says, "Save me, I'm single." Put me in that bucket.
So people, they want the single banana. It's like cheaper, or
It's cheaper because it's a single banana, but it's a way to not throw it away and have waste. So they just put it in the bucket, and then if someone wants 1 or 2 bananas and the bucket has a couple in it, they just snag those instead of a whole bushel or bunch.
and here I thought that if it fell off, it was for a reason. It's like obvious, clearly that one's not good.
Oh, but now you're poking fun at Cachette because she
No,
just
no.
Yes.
Thinking about bananas here.
Okay. Okay.
We're not expanding this to any other area.
Just saying.
How about a treat? Anybody? Guess that would be like a treat. Oh, man.
I can't believe you need to see it next time. I see them in Walmarts quite frequently. So next time you go to the non-burglarized one in Greenville or whatever it is,
Non-scary one.
yeah,
Okay.
the non-scary
I'll
one.
have to look for that.
You got to check it out. It's real. I'm curious. Has anyone else in chat seen that little bucket in the grocery store?
No,
People buy single anything that everything.
when we buy bananas, it's usually like 2 or 3 bunches at a time.
Well,
So-
with 6 kids, you guys get like 6 things of bananas, 6 gallons of
feeding a
milk.
small troop of monkeys. So we buy multiple bags of bananas. But
And Mrs. Ari gets like 6 pounds of mushrooms to put in your favorite dish that you don't know you're eating with mushrooms in
I've
it.
never seen her buy mushrooms. I'm not sure. I'm going to talk to her. I don't know if she's just pulling my leg or what.
Yes, Franco. Franco has seen these banana buckets,
Okay, I just saw something from Diet Coke Mama.
but I Rescue Dogs just said no either. So I've got one.
A single banana thing. This is something I
Northeast.
have seen that if I can find it. Where was Diet Coke Mama's comment? It's going so fast. I don't know. It was up there.
Mrs. Ari's all over you. He's just getting you tonight. Our supermarket gives those to kids in the store alone with cutie oranges. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes, I've seen that. When you go to a store, and this is what I thought you were talking about. Like when there's a too small or a bag of cutie oranges that broke open or something, they set out a little display and something fell. You catch it. Okay. They set out a little display and it's like, take me for your kids or whatever. Have a snack while you shop type thing. And it's designed for the kids. I always thought, what's good for the kids is good for the parent. And so I might have consumed one as well. But I'd always just go and grab one.
I've never seen that.
I
I like that better, to be honest. Either way, I think both are to reduce waste, which is a good thing. And so I like it. I like the one better to give the kids, unless people start taking advantage of that and they start taking their kids up there every single day to eat cuties and bananas, and that's their lunch.
See, I'm with a fanny pack on this one. They fell off for a reason, like an umbilical cord. Oh man, great top three. Thank you for whoever made the suggestion of the top 3 foods we didn't like as a kid but do now, even though I sort of went the wrong direction on the last one.
That was a good one. I like it. I like it. Top 3. I can think of.
Speaking of top, people who are at the top of their game.
There was a top 1. Now we're going to dive into sports here. We're not crazy sports fans, either one of us, but the story's pretty neat.
I am. Go sports. Yay team. This is about all I can do for sports for you. Thomas, you're on your own on this one.
So this one's really fun. So Dallas Cowboys had one of the top kickers in the league last year. And I'm not a Cowboys fan, nor am I really even a football fan, but At the end of the season, come playoffs, the one of the top kickers in the league for the Cowboys really started to struggle and fall off the map. Minnesota Nice, as I am, big Cowboys fan in the house, all caps, all exclamation points. That's scary. So Minnesota Nice knows.
It's got a
Now-
Viking. It's got a Viking in the profile picture.
So maybe she's a big fan because Cowboys choke every year. I don't know.
I think so.
No shots fired. Anyways, postseason comes, the kicker struggles. So during the offseason, coaching staff and the owner start to make decisions for a new position. Here's where we get to that. I've already forgotten his name. I actually heard the story the other day and I really liked it. That's why I want to look it up. I forget. I got to find his name because he deserves the credit. Brandon Aubrey. Brandon Aubrey plays college soccer for Notre Dame. He then signs a semi-pro contract in Canada to play semi-pro soccer. Can't really cut the mustard. So there's a point in time where his wife, they're watching football, American football for those overseas, and they're watching the kicker, and his wife says, "You could do that. You kick." And he's, "Oh, thanks, honey. No, a different sport. I'm serious. You can do it. You can kick." So lo and behold, he goes out and starts kicking, and he is now a 26-year-old rookie that got signed by the Cowboys and is their starting kicker. He's not kicked professionally, and now he's kicking for the Dallas Cowboys. He went from $65,000 a year, semi-pro soccer, couldn't make it, to now on a contract for $750,000 per year kicking for the Dallas Cowboys. What a story.
It's amazing. I'm super excited for him, and props to his wife for recognizing his skill and an option. I mean, that must be just amazing for them. I'm super excited. But what does this tell us about our sports and who we pay what money and for what? Because if we've got a semi-pro soccer guy that can't cut it and we give him $65,000 a year, and he does something arguably, I'd say, less difficult for $750,000. Am I right on this? My train of thought. Are you following me here?
I go not as taxing, but more pressure. You're on a field of many and you make a mistake, you're okay. But when you're the kicker oh man, you posted the comment and I heard you go, So you hit me in the heart because I didn't notice it this whole stream. Oh man.
And it's even, I made it match my courthouse.
Yeah. Why does it look different?
If I were to stand up over there, over here, it would
turn white and green.
You can see right through. This is the same color green as my green screen. So instead of being up like in the corner by your logo in the top right hand corner of the podcast, it adds to my green screen, and so my fingers. Well, you can see. I've got a hole in my heart.
I was like, I don't remember having those colors in my merch store, but they look cool.
Special order.
It's the only one ordered.
Yeah, if we move right, you can see.
Green screen's too good today.
Right over here, it gets a little whiter. Like the color of the wood changes.
I hope this is being clipped right now.
All right. Yes.
Trick or treat.
Amazing story, honestly. And it's sort of funny that we think of pro sports and people that really have to work their entire lives and build up to that. I mean, they're playing it in high school. They're playing competitively in college. They get drafted, and they work their way up to a starting lineup. And this guy was like literally went from watching it on football, watching it from the couch, to the next year being a starter.
Yeah,
a kicker, and just.
And 26, 27, and the vast majority of pro sports, being a rookie is considered older. That's funny that actually comes up. It's a little bit different in professional hockey. Goalies mature later, so that wouldn't be as rare. But just a neat story, and that's really cool. So
that's awesome. That is cool. RA is special. He needs to be original. I've got issues, Bud Duggar. I've got issues. That's what I was saying.
The chat just cracks me up all the time.
Oh my goodness, they're the best.
That's ironic. You're wearing my shirt.
It is. We need to get you in one of mine. Speaking of irony, I see what you're doing there. We have some top ironic situations to share with you today, just to close everything out.
Love it.
And do you want to do back and forth, or do you want me to just read a bunch of them?
I'm going to read the first one.
I've got a piece of mushroom stuck in my teeth, I think. Mr. Ray, I still want to know the answer to that. Where am I eating mushroom? Anyway.
She's not going to give. I promise.
Okay, so first of all, we have to let me read this first. Let me hold up the. Well, is that better? How about right there? The definition of irony is a situation that is strange or funny because things happen in a way that seems the opposite of what you expected. When it comes to finding examples of irony, truth is stranger than fiction. So here we go. Number 1. The most shoplifted book in the world is the Bible.
Bam.
That's
wild. Ouch.
Thou shalt not shoplift the Bible. I'm pretty sure that's written in there somewhere. Thou shalt not shoplift the Bible. Here's one that hits recovery addicts a little close to home.
Yes.
The founder of AA asked for whiskey on his deathbed.
100%.
The nurse didn't give it to him. So he died sober. Which is, I guess, good. So
The McDonald's.
Mhm.
This one's great. McDonald's employees' health page, which is now shut down, doesn't exist, but it's for their own personal health. It warned against eating McDonald's burgers and French fries for their own health.
it's like, we sell this stuff, but we don't deal to it. We don't
eat it.
that is really bad. Okay. I know Halloween is just around the corner, but Christmas, if you look at the stores, is coming soon because their decorations are already going up in Sam's Club and everywhere else. Every year, ABC cuts down A Charlie Brown Christmas. They trim down the video, which is a movie about the over-commercialization of the holidays to make room for more commercials. It's like, we'll cut that part out because Walmart has an important message for you.
Man. People, it's funny. I think it gets lost in translation as the years progress and as they create things. We've got Charlie Chaplin.
Mm-hmm.
He once entered a Charlie Chaplin walk contest and finished 20th in his own contest.
I imagine he felt pretty bummed about that.
I would think so.
I mean, how do you feel to not be able to be yourself well?
I suck at being me. That
reminds me. There was a similar story. There was a kid that was doing a report. I think he did the report on David Eddings, who was a fantasy author, and he was supposed to answer this question. And he wrote to David Eddings and said, "How would you answer this question?" And David Eddings wrote the response. He wrote and he turned it in as the assignment, and he failed. He failed the assignment when it was literally the author who wrote the thing answered the question. He's like, "No, that wasn't right. You didn't answer that right." So, similar mindset, I guess. People have their expectation of what we're supposed to look like or be like, and we don't always match up to it. Here's a fun one: the inventor of the stop sign, father of traffic safety, named William Eno. He invented both the stop sign, the crosswalk, the traffic circle, one-way streets, and taxi stands. Okay, this guy was all about everything commute related. Never learned how to drive.
Hypocrite.
Clearly, because everything he invented slows the rest of us down. Had he been on the road, he'd be like, "Well, I'm going to invent the go light. This is just," and taxis have to pull off the road to pick people up.
And those that can drive invented the Cali roll or the California roll, where you just cruise through. It's a good drive. I'm going to skip number 8 there. And
all right, sounds good.
Bunny hop down to here too. What's ironic about Al Capone? Al Capone's older brother was a federal prohibition agent. Which is ironic as that is, I feel like that is just an in. There's a little corruption probably going on there that could help out. So
I'm-
not ironic to me, I would think.
Now it makes sense where they stole the plot line for Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that's right. The brother-in-law DEA agent. And
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, the man who invented basketball, the only losing basketball coach in the University of Kansas history is James Naismith, the man who invented basketball. Just because you thought of the idea doesn't mean you'll always be the best at executing. It was a great idea, great game. Thank you, but you're the only one in the history of the school who has a losing record.
who cannot win at your sport. This one's not ironic to me. It's just, to me, it's a fun, rare fact of, did you know? Ironic about Pizza Hut. So before 2012, the largest purchaser of kale in the U.S. was Pizza Hut. And the whole reason it is they used it as a garnish around their buffets and salad bars. So they bought so much kale. And imagine, they're the largest purchaser. That all gets thrown away, not eaten.
It's a decoration.
A garnish, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Literally, it's just to make it look fancy and fresh. So they put weeds around the pizza, and now people pay big money to eat those weeds.
Right.
Thanks. Little Caesars. Or who was that? Pizza Hut?
Pizza Hut.
Man.
Oh.
So, Julius Caesar, murdered by his peers.
Not personally, but the story I'm aware of.
It concerns him personally. He was murdered because that was in 44 BC. Just if you're counting, the area that place where he was murdered is now a no-kill animal shelter for homeless cats.
Oh God.
And every cat that comes in, his name is Brute. Hey, tu Brute. Good stuff. One more. Office.
Yep.
Office related. You have an office. You work out of an office. You're familiar with that. I have a little office as well that I share with you guys here through the live stream.
We've both been in our office for this entire day and counting.
Communication, a big part of what we do. Huge part. We think it's always been so, but it hasn't. The inventor of the telephone, Mr. Alexander Graham Bell, invented the telephone, but refused to have one installed in his office because he thought it would distract him from his work.
It kind of goes back to the stop sign. Like what?
Mrs. R.A. can relate to this. Refuses to have a cell phone because then people will call her and she'll have to answer it, and that's not convenient. So she and Alexander Graham Bell are like on the same wavelength.
They're in good company.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're in good company. I might have butchered that one. What do you say? We do one more each?
One more each. Pick your favorite.
Because we've got a big. I didn't even make it this far down the list earlier today when I saw this. I just said, yeah, this is going to be a fun one. This is a great one. I love it. So duct tape. Duct. D-U-C-T. Not duck, not everything else.
Like air duct tape.
Like air duct tape. According to researchers, duct tape should never be used to seal ducts. D-U-C-T. It should not be used for what it's named from. It should not. It's not good enough to do the job and seal it off like it needs to be done.
No.
So you need like gaff tape or something else.
Gaff tape or that really expensive metallic tape that the guys that do your ducts put on. But that's speaking of things that should not be used the way that everyone uses them. Q-tips, those cute little ear cleaners, which a little stick with a little cotton ball in the end and clean all that waxy buildup inside your ear canal. Apparently, if you read the label, the first thing they tell you is don't stick this in your ear.
Is it really?
My question is, where am I supposed to put it if not my ear? I don't know what else they would be good for.
It helps clean up eyeshadow and mascara.
As I was saying, where should I?
I'm sorry. I thought you went to the makeup room every morning before before you went live.
Powder my face a little bit. Yeah. So apparently Q-tips. It's like everybody knows. Everybody uses it for their ears, right? That's what they're for. It's like right. By a show of hands. Okay. I'm not going to hold you to this. Is not like I'm calling the ear canal police or whatever. Show of hands. How many use Q-tips to clean your ears? Boom. It's just us.
The chat went pretty cool.
The delay. It's the delay, guys. It's the delay. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. No, just kidding. Okay, so Halloween's coming up. I know what I'm gonna be. I'm gonna wear my orange hoodie, my prison escape hoodie. Mrs. R.A.'s. Look at all the hands. Now the hands are popping up. The orange hoodie is gonna be the costume. I don't think I'm gonna give away candy because I am worried that the neighbors did hear because it was over loudspeaker system that I said this, and I'm a little worried that they're going to be watching me extra closely this year. so I think it's going to be movie night on Halloween. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe out in the Airbnb where no trick or treaters will come.
That just gave me an idea.
What's that?
I want to get a projector and create an outdoor movie theater where it's playing against our garage door and set up a bunch of chairs and just have Twister playing with sound effects and there's popcorn and candy. And if anyone needs a break for 2 to 4 or 5 minutes while they're trick-or-treating, they sit down and while the movie's playing, eat some popcorn, snag some of the candy and off they go. And I can just sit there and watch it and not have to do anything.
Yeah, just keep the popcorn popper going and everyone will be happy.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I won't yell treat at anyone that walks up my driveway.
You know what I like the most about it? It sounds like it doesn't require a lot of setup.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not big into setting up stuff for Halloween at all. It's to make it extra spooky, I just won't mow my lawn that week. You know, so you got tall grass. That's all we'll do.
Oh, that's fair enough. So before we sign off for the night, we had a request from I think it was Bug Dugger.
Mm-hmm.
Said, I want a dad joke and a weather report before we go for the night.
Oh man.
So I'm going to leave the dad joke up to you. And while you're on the spot thinking about it real quick, earlier on in the show, Cashette gifted 5 memberships. So thank you for that. I did not see who they went to because it's been a little while. But RA will give out a dad joke and I will give a quick update on Tropical Storm Ophelia as it slides into RA's front yard.
It's here. I can give you the update if you'd like.
Yeah. You can do the dad joke and the weather.
It's getting windy. It's really wet. It's getting windy. That's it.
I'm going to try. I'm going to try something here. This might not work. Let's see. I don't know what's going to happen here. Okay.
I'll tell you one. And it's potty humor.
Okay.
Potty humor to finish. So, this whole podcast has been down the toilet as far as for me.
Let's bring on the potty humor.
I've confessed to some. Pretty sure it was a felony. So we might as well just wrap it up with some potty humor and call it good. Looks like we're washing down the drain as well with this storm, which is barreling straight towards me. It's coming right at me. It's gonna be great. Okay, so what's a bat's worst fear?
Potty humor.
Diarrhea.
Because they hang upside down.
That's the bat's worst fear. There you go.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Pretty bad. I told you.
That brings perspective on things in life, though. Oh, any future accidents in life, you say, well, at least I'm not a bat. Oh, man. Yeah. A lot of laughs. Some OMGs. And then my favorite. Oh, Scott. Assuming that's how it was typed.
On the map here, can you zoom out and show us just what we're in store for this weekend? Because this is tomorrow. It's going to be like right over me in Eastern North Carolina.
Yep. So here's the eastern half of the United States. If we scroll in a little bit, I'll give you one of my functions is not working right now. It's a little upsetting, but here's the current state of Tropical Storm Ophelia and where the current eye is located. I say current as of 7 o'clock tonight. So wind speeds are at 70 mile an hour. Gusts is 85. It's moving northwest. It's moving at a decent speed, not as fast as what was that, Idalia? I think that came from the Gulf. And then here we are just off the coast of Jacksonville tomorrow. That says at 1 a.m. So I'm estimating somewhere around 2 to 3 a.m. tomorrow is when actual landfall of the eye of this tropical storm hits. From there, so what we've got right now on the East Coast, and again, I've got some things that aren't working right now. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. There are tropical storm warnings, as you know, because your coast, your seaboard's in that, but there's also hurricane watches have been issued, meaning there's a chance it could strengthen by that time.
So a couple miles per hour faster.
Yeah, most projections are saying it's going to stay a tropical storm. So as we skip ahead, once it makes landfall all the way up into northern North Carolina, this is at 1 o'clock tomorrow, where it's settled down. It's same thing. Wind speeds are at 50, max wind gusts are at 65. I think sometime between landfall and this, it's probably going to stay that way or be a hair stronger as it makes landfall. So you're probably going to start to see wind gusts around 75 miles an hour, even maybe up to 80 as it moves in. Now,
this is the worst we've had in the last 4 years here.
So
even though it's not a hurricane, all the other have sort of fizzled out or they've gone around us. They haven't been bad. This one is like bullseye. It's going to hit us. It's not even. It's barely even named.
And you had plans. So what's not working right now is these green colors you're seeing. The brighter green little circle right there in the middle. That's called the wind field. So that brighter green, it's much faster. Those wind gusts are currently reaching up to 75 miles an hour. This much more broad, darker green around the outside, that's the larger wind field coming from it. And those are around 60 miles an hour. So you can see what's being covered and what's being hit. But again, and if we can skip all the way ahead, this is going to be post tropical storm. This is up in Richmond, Virginia. This is Sunday at 1 o'clock in the morning. So winds are much less. They're at 45, which can still cause damage to, lawn furniture and small tree limbs and things like that. But it's a lot of water.
Monday in Maryland. How far before this really fizzled out over land is it?
So it stops the forecast in Philly, which looks like that's Monday at 1 o'clock. But
it's right where the manhunt was, right there. It's going to be
it is. That's right.
Along with farms.
So again, there's still going to be a lot of rain with it. Potential for severe weather obviously comes off of weather systems like these. A lot of coastal flooding. There's already been that way. Some people reported it today. But again, that wind damage, 70 mile an hour winds is strong to do a lot of damage.
We had the ocean came up and washed over the road on the Outer Banks already. So it's getting bad.
So it's up there. And I've just, lastly, I've got a few quick items, or I must have got them. Yeah. So peak storm surge forecast currently anywhere up to 6 feet of storm surge for the vast majority of North Carolina up into Virginia, and then up to 3 feet once we get up into Maryland and Delaware and things like that. So not good, not ideal. It'll cause some damage, but thankfully it's not 9 to 12 to 14 feet like a category 1 or 2.
Tells me it's tomorrow morning. I need to get in my unregistered vehicle and drive to Lowe's and buy some chainsaw fuel because I'm going to need it when all the branches come down on my Airbnb.
That's right. But that's the weather for then. And for those that don't know, let me see if I can put something up here because this is actually very important. We have some in chat right now that are in these areas. This is going to be, if it will update properly. This is day 2, which is tomorrow for severe weather. Large hail, heavy winds, and tornadoes expected tomorrow. So as you can see here, in southeastern Kansas, as well as northeastern Oklahoma. Those are really the big spots, and western Missouri. Those are the big places to watch out for. And then the surrounding areas. Again, anything in yellow and even this kind of darker shade of green, which encompasses my location as well here. Severe thunderstorms for tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. It's something to look out for. And Scott is gone. Scott is gone. He said he's had enough. Oh no, the tropical storm winds have knocked out his internet, and he is off. He goes. Nikki says, can you send some rain to California? Now, the Northwest is going to see rain all next week, but it's going to be in the northwestern portions of the states and a piece of California. Southern California is not going to see much. Scott is going out for a banana. Red Pen says, I got to close it out. Oh, he's back. We've got audio.
I say trees come down, and literally our neighborhood just hit a power flash. I'm connected through my phone because my internet is down. And I'm yellow. I don't know. I don't know what I can be. My switcher's fried. I don't know. I don't know if it'll be restored. That's it. Thanks for sending me the storm weather watch. I appreciate you. I pushed the button to play the music and it didn't play. Instead, I heard this and just down. And now that happened.
What a home run ending we got there. But you're okay, correct?
I think I'm alive. I hear music now. I was trying to play it. It wasn't working before, but thank you all. I'll try to stay safe, guys. I'll post something to reboot all my equipment. Hope it's working.
Oh goodness. Well, thank you everyone again for another fantastic Friday. The chat is so much fun. The involvement, even our top 3 tonight, was generated from you guys earlier today. We love the interaction and being part of it. So I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. Those that are in the way of severe weather over the weekend, please just tune into your local channels. I might try to do something, but your local networks, they're going to give you the quickest, fastest feedback to where you are. Scott, sorry that your weekend vacation.
I'm slowly coming back.
Ruined.
I'm slowly coming back.
See that?
I'm alive. See, proof of life. No green screen, but yeah, it's good. Thanks, Thomas. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you on Monday.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody.